Hello guys, as you can see, no seat here. Reason being, I have my podcast pre-recorded. So I just want to throw a few things out there. First of all, from now on, next week and going forward, we're going to be doing live podcasts at 7 instead of 8, just to help with some people that aren't night owls. Second of all, we're going to be doing it every week, and starting next week, I'm going to have Andrew as my host. So, now without further ado, enjoy my podcast with KK about coffee. Hello, welcome to the Odd Unicorn Podcast. This is KK.
Hi.
My sister, my newest sister.
In-law. Not newest sister.
Legally, my sister. So that you're still my sister.
Right, but I'm saying your new sister implies that mom just had me.
That's true.
And I'm already 21.
That would be weird.
Odd.
That would be very odd. You'd have a very...
It'd be perfect for your podcast.
I don't know if that would be what I would feature in my podcast.
I don't know.
Anyway, we are talking about effects of caffeine. Also, get it.
I couldn't just give him a normal mug when I made him a latte, so I gave him a lipstick mug, and I have the normal mug.
So, of course, we're going to be sipping this while talking about caffeine.
I have white chocolate and peppermint. What do you
And
have?
mine is Irish cream.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yours is with whole milk, mine's with Breve. So
I like Breves better for their flavor, but the foam on whole milk is, I think you can get it better.
Really?
You disagree? Well, you know more than me.
Well, taste the Breve.
Okay.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, the
Why
foam's-
is that perfect?
Maybe because you made it.
Well, okay.
'Cause you actually
it
know how to
doesn't
make
be
coffee.
perfect. I do know how to make coffee,
I
but
thought I knew how to make coffee until I met you.
well, I mean, today though my latte art was just blobs.
Oh, okay.
Except for TJ's. TJ's is the only one that turned out like a Rosetta, but like I went to go do a clover on Dad's and it just looked like a blob with lines in it. It was like a cross, but then it was just like big bubbles everywhere, and I was just like, all right, never mind. I'm not even gonna try. And yours, I didn't try at all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was going to, but then I was like, bloop, and that was it. So.
Yeah. So we are actually talking about caffeine and how it affects us, but then also talking about just coffee in general because we both love coffee.
Yes. I've always been a big advocate for coffee.
Yeah, me too.
I'm actually wearing a Big B t-shirt, but it's not sponsored by them, so.
Yeah, you missed out, Big B.
Yep, you did.
Maybe next time.
Make us rich. Make us rich.
Mm-hmm. But first, how's the week been for you?
It's been good. We're up visiting you guys for Christmas.
Yep.
And, well, New Year's, technically.
Technically.
But we went from my grandparents' house, and then we drove up here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about 6 hours, but normally it's about 8
Yeah.
from my
So
house.
that's nice.
Yeah, so it was a shorter drive. I drove across the bridge for the first time.
Ooh.
Terrifying, because my intrusive thoughts were like, what if I sharply turned to the right?
Yes.
What would happen? And then I was like, Kayla, stay in the road. Kayla, stay on the road the whole time. And then I told TJ I was terrified of the grates. And then I had to drive on the grates because all the trucks were going like 20 miles an hour because of the wind. So it was horrible. But I drove across it, and I paid the lady, and she said, have a great day.
Oh.
So it's great. And then we're up here, and we're staying up till like 3 a.m.,
Yeah.
of which I don't do well. And I'm wearing no glasses right now, so I feel really blind. So how's your week been?
Chaos.
Yeah.
Exhausting, because I've been staying up fairly late, and also working.
Oh, you
Except
work?
for today. Yeah, you know this.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I
work
just
a
forget
job.
sometimes. You don't
Yeah.
look like you work.
That's fair. But yeah, so I worked every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and yesterday. But then I don't work today.
And you don't work Monday.
I do not work Mondays, so that's awesome.
Free day. I don't work at all. I used to work at Big B, but then 2 weeks ago, I put in my 2 weeks notice and was done with Big B. So I'm all done with Big B now.
Hey?
I'm a stay-at-home wife, and that's about it. And I teach piano, so I keep busy
that's
with
nice.
12 students. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, All in one day, too. I teach them all in one day. So I start early in the morning on Monday, and then I go all day long until like 6. I think 6 o'clock is my last one.
Wow, you don't like space them out or anything?
It's back to back, except for sometimes I'll have a lunch break in between that's like an hour long. So I go over to my mom's house and eat whatever food she has because I forget to pack myself food. But other than that, no. It starts at 10 in the morning, goes till 6.
Wow.
But you have to think each kid is like a half hour long, so I have plenty of time. And some kids have an hour long lesson. I have 2 people who have an hour long lesson.
Okay.
So it takes up a lot of time.
Yeah.
But,
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, now back to the topic. Coffee.
Is he going to do that every time we say the word coffee?
Yeah, it's like downing shots, except it's coffee instead of alcohol.
I was thinking you meant like shots of espresso because I have a pure mind.
I work in a factory.
I worked literally at Big B Coffee, so shots meant espresso shots.
Well, I work at a factory, so shots mean drown your sorrows.
Oh.
Because your kids got taken away or something.
Oh, how sad. Okay. All right, so coffee. What do you want to know about coffee? I can tell you. Anything.
Anything.
Ask me something.
So, first of all, how did it start? How did coffee
start?
Did coffee come to the Western world?
Oh, goodness, I don't even really know. I know that it's normally grown outside of America. There's very few places in America. I think in Hawaii there are a couple coffee farms because of the atmosphere, I guess. Would that be the right word, atmosphere?
Climate.
Climate. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. I was homeschooled.
Yeah, me too.
Featuring mom as my teacher.
Yes.
That would make sense.
That would make sense when you're
my mom, not my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law didn't teach me. That would be weird. She didn't know me as a child.
That would be
Did
weird.
your mother-in-law teach you?
My mother-in-law?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know yet.
You don't know? Wait. No, you do know that your mother-in-law did not teach you.
Well, some people taught me things, and I don't know if they're my mother-in-law yet.
You should ask them.
Okay. I will.
Okay, anyways, so, I actually have met some people from a coffee farm, and I got to, like, take pictures with them and everything. So with Big B Coffee, I worked there and as a barista, and I became the trainer there for the specific store that we had, and my boss took us and 2 other girls to the big, huge corporate event. And at the corporate event, we got, like, bags of coffee from, it's not Nicaragua, it's not Zambia. There's another place.
I don't know, Brazil.
Maybe it is Nicaragua.
Okay.
I'm going to go with that. Just for the sake of I don't really remember. So anyways, it's over in that area.
Okay.
And they actually don't use any chemicals on their coffee. They pick the beans by hand, so like some of their hands are like actually like deformed from picking beans.
Wow.
So it was really cool to meet them. And the guy who started the farm, he's like 90 something, and then he has his wife, and then he has his kids, and then his son, who currently owns the farm now.
Okay.
And it's a small farm, and they are a farm direct as well as a fair trade one.
Okay.
So Big B pays them very well for what they give them for their coffee, and then some. So the workers that are there, their children get to go to school for free over there. Oh, Zambezia. That's No.
Zambia?
Hold on. Not Zambia. Hold on. That's somewhere. Now it's going to bother me. I don't remember. So we're just still going to go with Nicaragua because it sounds about right. I know it's a long name, so somewhere around there. Anyways, so Big B Coffee pays. No. I don't remember. I should Google it, but then I won't remember.
That's true. We should just keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Stop distracting me then.
Okay.
Okay. So Big B Coffee pays for their kids to go to school there. They have like a school on site on the farm, and then they also help. They pay their workers. On top of that, they get to live there. And they provide food and everything like that they need, and clothing and education for their kids. And then eventually they also provide retirement for the people there too.
Wow.
So it's super cool. All of their beans are completely organic, no herbicides, no pesticides. And then they also pick the weeds themselves. So they go through every single morning, and their coffee is actually grown on a huge hill. Like, it's literally grown at a slant. Like, I mean, it's just super steep, like a mountain, basically. So it's grown up the mountain, and then they have, like, canopies over top to protect them from, like, sun damage and things like that. And the guy that started it, he still goes out there every morning and helps oversee. And he's got this, like, giant sticks, and he walks up the mountain every morning, and it's super cool. So I got some of their beans from there. So I got to meet them because the next day I get a phone call saying, hey, those people that you met yesterday from where Nicaragua, because I don't remember where it is. Anyways, they showed up at the store, and I got to make them a latte with their coffee.
Oh.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's insane.
So their coffee is a Mexican name. We have it on brew every day. It's El Recreo.
Okay.
So that's their name of their coffee. And 30% of Big B Best, which is like our normal everyday coffee that we use, like our house blend, is made up of that. So it's super cool. And then it's farm direct, meaning that we take it from the farm to one supplier in the U.S. and then directly from there, Paramount Coffee distributes our coffee from there directly to Big B. So it's very, like, very minimal. Yes. Yeah. Minimal hand contact and everything like that.
Yeah, that way it's not old and stale.
Yep. It's very fresh. Yep. Wow. Smells super good. It has hints of, like, cinnamon and vanilla and then almonds, I think, is the other one.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got 2 bags of it for free.
Oh.
Yeah, because one of the girls doesn't like coffee, so she gave me hers. Yep. And I was like, mine. So I still have some. I used it for my espresso, which it was decently well as espresso, but it makes really good pour over. So, so I guess that's kind of what I know of coffee, kind of, and as far as origins go.
Yeah. And also, yeah. So that makes sense. I know it started actually when how it got to the Western world was in Europe. There was. Once export became more common, like when trains started being invented and stuff like that, then, because before that, it was so hard to get it from places like Africa or South America. Well, they didn't even know South America existed for the longest time.
Right, exactly.
So mostly just Africa they would get the beans from. And it was very difficult to get them there, so it was an extreme delicacy.
I'm looking up El Recreo now because it's bothering me so bad. El Recreo comes from... okay, here we go. It is Nicaragua.
Oh, you're right.
I was right.
Yay!
I feel much better about myself now. Okay, now continue. Now I feel better.
A bunch of the colleges, like the one that Isaac Newton went to, they banned coffee.
Why did they ban it?
Because it's a psychoactive drug. Yeah.
I actually have a friend who, well, not a friend of a friend of a friend, probably.
Probably.
A preacher who believes that it is a sin to drink coffee. To drink caffeine, sorry.
So do the Mormons.
Coffee. Okay.
So.
Interesting.
Interesting what that says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baptists are quite the opposite.
No, we're good with that.
That's like the church that we just went to on Wednesday. The senior pastor or the former pastor.
Yeah, the former
pastor. He walks out with a cup of coffee and he's like, just so you know, coffee isn't allowed in the auditorium.
Takes a sip,
and
walks away. I was like,
oh, I guess.
Awesome.
And then the lady next to him was like, yes, coffee is encouraged. And they have like a coffee pot and then an espresso machine all in one.
Yes.
And they want you to take it into the auditorium. Like they realize to keep their people awake.
Exactly.
And also, it helps you focus, as we'll find out, and things like that. So.
Yeah, and because of that, the colleges, they would have, what they would do is they'd have these specific buildings for studying, that were like basically
drug deals?
So it was run by the students themselves, and they would go and study. Which means, yes, they would study, but they'd also be drinking coffee.
So it's like illegally drinking coffee. Like a drug deal. Like a literal drug deal.
It's like a drug deal.
Like, here's your little... They probably put it in a bag of crowns, and they're like, here you go. Stuff it in your pocket quick.
Yeah, no. But they would actually make it.
Oh, they make the coffee there.
It was far enough away from the campus that, like, the guys didn't. So
you wouldn't smell it?
It
Just
was
like
the
marijuana,
Yes. Well,
It's so
when
bad.
you're in Michigan, that's
Lansing
pretty normal.
It's just like a
Because it's legal now.
Yeah, it is, and people
And
love
everyone.
it. In our apartment building, inside the apartment itself, you can't smoke. There's no smoking.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean you can't sit out in your car and smoke. So there's, like, you get home from work or whatever, and you walk out of your car and you're like, ugh, gag, it's so bad.
Yep.
So
It's not. Ugh.
So coffee in the U.S. now, obviously.
So basically that was like the first coffee shop.
Yeah.
And then after that, it got moved to, then people that went over to America, they love coffee, especially, I think, the French.
Yeah. And Italians, too.
Italians. Well, they
And
were
where
the ones.
espresso came from.
They're the ones that really popularized it, the Italians.
Right. Well, especially espresso.
Yep.
And the mocha pot.
Yep.
Espresso, there was a guy who was on a, don't ask me any specific details because my brain doesn't work like that, but it was a cart that he had, and he wanted to do like a coffee cart. So it was a rollable, moving coffee shop. Yeah. And he didn't want all of the equipment because obviously their brewers are a little bit bigger, and he didn't want like loose strip coffee spilling everywhere. And so he wanted something that was more instant to give to people, but like maybe they didn't want a whole cup. Maybe they just wanted something quick to get them going through their day, or maybe they didn't really like the taste of coffee, so they wanted something that they could just down the hatch and energy, And so he came up with a system that was a highly pressurized water and steam, and it would force it through the grounds, and it came out in this tiny little bit of liquid, 2 ounces of liquid, and with a thick gold, like, crema on top is what they ended up calling it, but like a thick
gold film.
Yeah, a film of oils and water, and that is where espresso came from. I think the machine itself was something espresso, whatever,
Yeah.
However Italians say it. So that's kind of where like espresso kind of started from, and then it became very popular. Many Americans still, obviously, that's what when you go to order a latte, you're going to typically receive 2 to 3 shots. Some people go 2 to 6 shots of espresso.
Or there's your husband who does 12 shots and drinks it on its own.
Yeah. He doesn't do that as much anymore because he normally drinks coffee and an energy drink together. Not like literally at the same time, but like he has his drink.
Like, here's your shot and here's your energy drink.
Yeah, no kidding. No. So I try to, depending on how tired I am, in the morning I try to make him a coffee, to go. Sometimes I'll do a Chemex, which is just a super nice, clean pour over. And it's beautiful. I normally make it the night before because it reheats super well in the microwave. Super well.
A lot of coffees
So I'll
don't
make
do
it
that.
at night, and I'll put it into my fridge just in the Chemex, and in the morning I'll put it into a glass measuring cup or whatever, like they're talking about the big ones, and then I'll heat it for like 2 to 4 minutes, and then put it into his thermos, and it's good to go. And he says it tastes really good. It doesn't taste burnt the next day. So it could be the coffee that I use, but I think the technique in and of itself, it leaves you with a clean.
I would say that because I know from what I've known of pour over, it's a much more light, fresh coffee rather than a richer, darker coffee.
Right, exactly.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So there's an espresso machine. We've got a Chemex, which is like a glass, I guess it's a glass funnel into a holding container. It's all one unit. It normally has like a piece of wood that you can hang on to, so that way you don't burn yourself. You put your filter in, and then normally you use like a gooseneck kettle. You don't have to. There's different devices for it that you can do. And you let the coffee bloom and let all of that coffee grounds in there kind of soak up that water and start to really develop a good flavor and warm it up. And then you pour through all of that coffee like in certain increments. I normally do 100 grams at a time.
Okay.
Until I reach 400 grams for like a 3-cup one. There's 6-cup ones, but generally that's what I have. And then from there you just take out your grounds and you're left with a really good cup of coffee. That's like your brewed coffee.
Yeah.
Of course, we got brewed coffee from like, Mr. Coffee Machine or whatever. That's very, very famous. Probably the most well known.
Because it's super easy to do.
And fairly inexpensive as well.
It is. And also, honestly, I don't mind it.
No, it tastes delicious.
It does.
Yeah.
It actually, I've heard a lot of people in the coffee community are like,
Right.
oh,
That's just because they
boo."
want it to be fancy or whatever.
Yeah.
But really, when it comes down to it, it's still coffee.
Yeah.
It's just a simplified version of it, and the yield is more on it, and there's no calories in it unless you add stuff to it.
Yep.
Whereas a latte, you're gonna end up with some form of milk to put into there. Obviously, espresso is only 2 ounces, so if you
Yeah.
drink it black, it's not much that you have.
And it's crazy strong.
Yeah, that too. It is. And so with the brewed coffee, it has a nice, I don't know, like a clean taste.
It does.
I use that word a lot, but I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, well, and it's so true. Like, I love a good latte, but, like, if I'm just sitting down to, like, say I'm trying to edit a video or I'm
Right,
trying
you
to
need
do
that
stuff,
focus.
and I'm just doing this, like, that is just a clean
Right,
and
if you keep drinking
smooth-
lattes, you're going to end up with a stomach ache eventually.
Exactly.
I mean, depending on what kind of milk you use, obviously.
Yeah.
And then also with brewed coffee, it is just like a comforting thing, because it stays hotter longer.
Yep.
Lattes, they don't stay hot more than about 5 minutes unless you get them super hot.
Yeah,
and in
I
that
could
case,
tell.
you're boiling milk. Well, also yours literally sat there for like 15 minutes.
That's true. And I'm using just a regular ceramic
Right, and I have a
mug.
double walled, but it's still cold for me.
Exactly.
So we got brewed coffee makers. Chemixes, you've got pour overs, regular pour overs.
French
French
press.
presses. Yeah, French press is wonderful. You got a mocha pot, which is like a stovetop espresso machine.
Yeah,
Kind of basically, I mean, it even has crema on there and everything, except for you don't like tamp it down. You don't pressurize that water as much, but it does bring it up and then it flows over. So
Yeah.
I mean,
so it's still a nice, slow, super extracted brewing
Right.
method.
right. That one's
So-
popular as well.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So go ahead.
More on very enthusiast side, though.
Right.
The mocha pot.
Yes.
So there's a lot of ways to do it, but now,
The
how does it?
caffeine.
Huh?
The caffeine.
How does it affect
All
you?
right, this is
because
where it
that is the whole premise of this. Because I love coffee, you love coffee.
I do.
I
Yeah.
used to drink energy drinks, and I don't anymore.
So have you been doing that for a while now?
I've been doing it about a month.
Okay.
So, because I
So
went.
how are you feeling without energy drinks so far? That is a good amount of caffeine.
Yes.
So we're talking about 300
so-
milligrams that you're lacking in caffeine a day.
Well, usually it's 160 to 300.
Okay, alright.
Depending on what energy drink you get.
Right.
So yeah, because I work a job where I have to get up at 5 a.m. and I am a night owl. So caffeine became a crutch very quickly with my job.
Sure.
But then it started having a reverse effect where I couldn't get to sleep on time
Yep.
because I wasn't tired. But I should have been.
Right.
And so I actually took an entire month, almost exactly a month, right, Joy? Yeah. And I cut out all caffeine.
Okay.
No energy drinks, no coffee, no soda with caffeine in it. Nothing with caffeine in it. For a whole month. The first week was torture.
Yeah.
I had a headache for 2 days.
Oof. That's always the worst
I
part.
was always tired. Even like I'd be at work or I'd have a perfect amount of sleep and I'd still be tired
Yep.
for 1 week. But then after that, it got a lot better.
Right.
Where I was tired at night.
Oh, when you're supposed to be?
Right?
I know, shocker.
And I actually got a normal amount of sleep.
Yeah.
And then after that month, I incorporated coffee back in, and then now, I'll have like a soda with caffeine in it.
Right. Yeah, soda doesn't generally have a ton.
No,
anyway.
usually it's like 50,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. And it's been way better.
Yeah.
I haven't missed the caffeine from the
Energy
drinks at all,
Right.
which shows that I was probably.
Addicted?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Okay, so this is the article. I have an article. Normally, I guess, apparently his people aren't supposed to have talking points.
Oh
but-
no. A
Oh,
lot
they
of
just
people,
don't.
like 2 or 3 people already have.
Oh, good.
Just some people just are like, oh, yeah, I could have had talking points.
Right.
Oh well.
Well, this I wanted to make sure that I got correct as far as it. So we're talking about caffeine and how it affects your body. So this is
Yep.
talking about caffeine in general, not pertaining to just coffee. But obviously for us, that's going to be the biggest one. And then like my
It is.
husband loves energy drinks.
Yeah, well, he's the one that got me into
There's
it.
people upstairs pounding. the walls.
Joy.
That's
will
what you
take
get
care
for
of-
9 children.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, 9 children aren't making that sound. It's more like 2.
2.
2 or 3.
Yeah, your husband, aka my brother, got me into energy drinks. He's the reason
Right.
I started.
And TJ drinks them now because he doesn't get enough sleep at night, and he works like 13 to 14 hour days.
Yeah. See, I only
So-
work 8-hour days. So
Yeah, and I mean, he gets up and then he works until 3, and then he works normally till 8:30 at night on a side job. So I can see where I would probably. I don't like energy drinks. I don't like the taste of them.
yeah.
But I feel like I would get into more and more coffee.
Yes.
So
Oh man, the taste of them. I literally just recently I just tried an energy drink just to try it. It was I don't remember. I think it was Thursday or Wednesday, and it was so nasty.
yeah, it has a
It
taste
was
to
so
it.
disgusting.
It's the taurine in it.
Because that really is what it is. Because I was like, I drank this stuff. It is.
Yeah.
After not drinking it for a while, it's
Yeah, you
nasty.
realize how. Yeah, but you become addicted to it very quickly. Okay, so let's talk about it. So we're gonna talk about like some pros and cons of caffeine. So 1, it wakes you up. That's a pro.
Unless you're me,
Well,
because I'm ADHD, so it's
okay.
very stupid.
All right, so definitely for
almost-
ADHD people, it does sometimes actually calm them down.
Yeah, well, because it just makes you more focused.
Right, exactly, and therefore your body's at ease.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I'm never focused.
So let's talk about. Okay, so you
But
have for most people.
So yeah, let's start with most people, then
Okay.
we can get into the
Right.
nuance.
Yes. Okay. So a pro, it wakes you up.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. It helps you stay more alert. Some they find it helpful in the morning, especially trying to go to work early. Your body does not store caffeine, so you know how like when you're taking vitamins and things like that, especially like B vitamins,
Yep.
it will store it in your body.
Yeah. And
Okay?
that can be
and
difficult.
that's in energy drinks as well. Hence the reason why some people will drink energy drinks over coffee because it stores it in their body longer.
That makes sense.
With coffee, it doesn't store in your body, but it does last 6 hours.
Yeah.
So it lasts about 6 hours. The con of that is it helps you stay awake. And it wakes you up. It's also a pro, it's a con. So, like, for me, if I drink coffee past 3 p.m. is normally my cutoff, that means come 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, my caffeine is just starting to wear off. Maybe not even quite. I think it lasts longer in my body because I'm more sensitive to caffeine.
Okay, yep.
So then I can't sleep. So yeah, it wakes me up in the morning, but then yeah, it keeps me up at night. So that's a pro as well as a con.
Yup.
So caffeine in your body stays about 6 hours. So, okay, then 2, it interferes with sleep, which is what we just literally
Yeah,
talked
that's
about.
the con.
It's kind of like using blue light at night as well.
Yup.
It interferes with your sleep patterns. Your what is the word?
Melatonin
Yeah,
production.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Your melatonin. So sometimes I even have to take a melatonin to help calm that down. Although you don't want to do that too often with melatonin.
No.
It will end up tricking your brain into not producing it as
Yup.
much. So only when I'm desperate. Okay, so 3, it raises the heart rate. So caffeine is a stimulant.
Yep.
And it may cause your heart to beat a little faster as it wakes you up. For most folks, that's not a problem, but some people who are sensitive to caffeine, it can make it feel like their
Yes.
heart's going a million miles an hour,
Like-
or it can make it skip a beat, feel like it's skipping a
Yeah,
beat.
like
you
if
know?
you have heart problems, that actually can be really dangerous.
Right, I know a girl at Bigby, and she cannot have coffee. I'll send her into the hospital, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, so she stays far away from it, energy drinks, anything like that. No matter how tired she is, there's nothing that she can do. She feels like her heart's racing, and she just like goes crazy pretty much. Not literally in the sense
yeah.
go crazy, but
But-
her brain is going crazy.
Yeah.
It makes her feel like she's being suffocated.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So-
know people that, like, if they have caffeine, it just makes them jittery. And
Yeah. So if I don't have enough protein, and that's normally like, so maybe people that are more sensitive to caffeine, you would have to have more protein. So the protein helps absorb that, or carbs.
Yep.
Carbs helps absorb that. So if I don't have enough protein or carbs in my day, or if I haven't eaten in general,
Yeah, which is usually what
usually the
happens.
case, I have a nice coffee and I'm living off of that,
Yep.
You become very jittery, very
Well,
shaky.
And that happens to me if I'm nervous. Like, if I'm excited for quiz, I cannot drink coffee.
Yeah, some people are like that.
Because quiz really excites me. There's a ton of people, and it's competitive.
Right. So two of the
So
things.
I'm like,
yeah.
I can't have
coffee into that,
otherwise.
it's like
I'm
too
literally, I'm on the quiz. I'm on the thing going like this.
You're like,
I'm and I'm trying to jump, but like I'm just jittery,
Right.
and I can't even focus.
Yeah, exactly.
Because normally it helps me focus, but when I'm
Already nervous,
or
it
excited,
just stimulates that.
it just.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so number 4, this is a con. It causes a headache. If you have caffeine every day, whether in a pill, energy bar, or a cup of coffee, you build up a tolerance. Just like drugs, your body becomes dependent on it. And then it doesn't need just the same amount every day. It needs a little more every time that you go to do it.
And you can have the same amount every day, but then it stops affecting you.
Right, exactly. So, like, if I always have 1 cup of coffee a day, eventually that's no longer going to affect me.
Yeah, and
it's a psychological effect, though. Well, like the what is it called? What's the effect? Not Mandela effect. That's what I want to say, but it's not. When it like tricks your brain. What's the word, Joy? You're the production officer back there. Figure it out. When it tricks your brain into like it's
dependence.
Placebo. Placebo.
Well, yeah, but also it's more than just a placebo. It's also a chemical dependency.
Right.
So it stops producing certain chemicals because you're already getting them.
Right, exactly. So your body no longer needs to produce these because it knows that it's reliant on coffee.
That happened to me. I would literally drink 600 milligrams of caffeine in a matter of like an hour. Oh no, it's a really bad idea. Yeah, Don't ever do it.
Kids, listen to this.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Don't do either of those.
And it wouldn't affect me though.
Right.
I literally drank 2 energy drinks that were both 300 milligrams, and I was just like,
okay.
There's nothing.
Right. Yep.
Because my body was already dependent. It's already like I don't need it.
Right. Yeah. And then it builds up this amount of caffeine that you're used to, and then when you take it away, then your body's like, I don't know what to do here.
Yes.
Send help, and then it's telling your brain, and then that comes in the form of headaches and everything else.
The other thing was I couldn't focus at all for the entire month I went without caffeine.
Yeah.
Just my focus. I was just a blur. Joy knows this. I couldn't
There's a fly in here, and I can't focus. It's like a little tiny one, and just can't stand
little gnat.
Yeah. Okay. So then from there on in, number 5, this is, I guess, a con. It's a diuretic, so it's makes you pee all the time. Yep. Anybody who drinks coffee often would know that. And luckily, though, it generally does not have a lot of water content, and so it's not going to make you dehydrated as much as compared to like drinking a soda, something on the hot summer day that can make you more dehydrated.
Yep.
But with caffeine, it's not as much of that, but it still can be an issue if you're drinking large amounts of it.
Yeah.
On a hot day, you're just only drinking coffee,
Well, and from what I've heard, like regular drip coffee, if you have milk in it as well, is about equal.
Yeah. Yep.
So it doesn't...
Anything in it. I'm referring to coffee in and of itself.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So if you're drinking lattes all day long on a hot summer day.
that can dehydrate you.
Yeah, big time. And if you're also replacing it with your water.
That's the big thing.
Guilty. So guilty.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, so number 6, boost sports performance. So whether you do endurance sports like running, biking, swimming, caffeine might help you go faster with less muscle pain.
See, now that's one thing that doesn't apply to me. I've heard it applies to like
ADHD.
Because of ADHD.
Okay.
Because the thing about ADHD is, this also, one of the ways it stimulates you is dopamine production.
Right.
And when you're ADHD, you have a deficiency in dopamine.
Right.
So, and it mostly affects your brain with ADHD as far as the dopamine production. So when this stimulates me, I just become as focused as normal people. So basically, and I realized that with how unfocused I was like, oh, caffeine is my Adderall.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that can help with that.
Absolutely.
It seems to work best in a non-liquid form, like a pill, taken an hour before you exercise so that your body can absorb it completely. Around 200 to 400 milligrams of coffee, or of caffeine. It says 2 to 4 cups of coffee. Should do it. More than that doesn't seem to help any further.
I see. So like the stimulant pre-workout people take.
So I take pre-workout during So like certain times of like a month,
Yeah.
I will take it. When I feel like I am at my highest peak performance.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so then
yeah.
when I'm lifting, because I go with TJ and we lift weights.
Yeah.
Well, not as much anymore, but we will be doing it a lot more. So when I go and I'm going to be lifting heavy weights,
Yup.
and I'm trying to get like a max set amount, maybe not my lower sets or anything like that. I'll take pre-workout, and it has beta alkaline in it.
Okay.
And actually, I don't know if you've ever taken pre-workout.
Only a little bit, like tiny bit of it,
Okay,
but not
so-
really in the correct proportions to feel the effects.
Okay, so normally, you work up to a whole scoop.
That's what I've heard.
Right. So
Yep.
I normally do about a half scoop if I'm really wanting to like hit my max, like
Okay.
on bench press or deadlift or something like that. I will do a full scoop. But I only do that when TJ's there because obviously I don't want to I don't want to bench without somebody to spot me.
Oh yeah.
TJ can do it more than I can, but I'm terrified of getting crushed. TJ, I don't really worry about. He's smart and he can just push it off to the side or something. I think I'd panic.
Yeah. I feel like I would too. I'm just like, this is how I die. Okay.
And then you just let go and just die. So with pre-workout, it has that in there, and when you take it, like 10 to 15 minutes in, for me, it's like instantly. You get this, that feeling when your feet fall asleep or any part of your body falls asleep,
tingly.
that tingle?
Yes.
It tingles all over, but when I drink it, my lips tingle. So it starts there, like literally, and it feels so weird.
Really?
It
Wow.
feels so weird, so I'm super sensitive
Is
to
it
it.
partially placebo then?
No.
Really?
No,
So
I
it's-
literally feel it. Like, I wish I didn't feel it, and I'm trying to think that I don't feel it. And I noticed that because the first time it happened, I really didn't notice it too much, and then I started noticing every time that I took it. So, and then it will normally spread to my hands, and it just feels itchy, that weird feeling.
Yes,
Then the worst
I know
feeling
that.
is like when it sends down your back,
Yes.
and it feels like you're about to sweat almost, and it's that weird tingly, but then you don't, and then it's like,
You know what's crazy? That jitter and that tingle, I get that without caffeine.
yeah, see, there you go.
So it's weird. So my body will shoot
I wonder
me
what it
with
would
adrenaline.
do with beta alkaline.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Because yesterday we went to the Globetrotters. I'm sure a lot of you know who they are. Really cool trick shots and all that. And I was so tired on the way there, and he's like, "Man, you should have taken a nap. Are you sure you're even?" I'm like, "No, I know as soon as I get there, I'm gonna get shot with adrenaline."
Right, yeah.
My brain just does it, and I get that feeling with nothing.
Okay, so I have to take something for
Exactly.
to feel that feeling.
That's one of the
But then when you work
things
out,
about
it gives you that blood flow that you need,
Mm-hmm.
and it really pumps you up. Like, you get a really good
Yeah.
pump. So when you're not flexing, your muscles are still all flexed. And there's a great feeling after that. But once you start working out, then that tingling sensation goes away. And
Yeah,
it
'cause
becomes
you're actually
energy.
using
Right.
it.
But the one time we did that, and I took pre-workout, we went to the gym, and it was closed. And I was like,
Oh,
oh,
no.
great. So I'm like, I gotta go home and run around or something because I hate this feeling, and it's gonna just sit in my body till it wears off.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
not a ton of caffeine, but it is still a lot. But I can take that stuff at night long as I work out after taking it because you're
Okay.
using up that caffeine.
Yep.
Okay, so we're already at 12:40. We're
And
almost
if
at
it's
an hour.
extra long,
Okay.
it's whatever.
Okay, so it helps recover from a workout as well.
Oh.
After hard exercise by making and restocking its stored form of fuel called glycogen.
Okay,
It seems to
yeah.
get best if you combine it with carbohydrates. So, like in certain sports gels, sports bars, and drinks, it can just take care not to overdo the caffeine, which could have the opposite effect on recovery or performance as it interferes with your sleep.
Yep.
So that would make sense. So if you're wanting to recover from a really hard workout, you normally eat some carbohydrates, like an
Yep.
apple or some form of quick carbohydrates, but not talking about a cookie.
No.
A healthy form of carbs. A complex carb.
Complex carb, not a simple carb.
Right, exactly. And then combine it with maybe you could do, I wouldn't recommend an energy drink because it's
Too
very
much.
addictive as well.
It is.
And that's the thing, even more so than coffee.
Yeah, well, because they have a ton of artificial stuff in
Right,
it.
and I don't, health-wise, energy drinks are not great for you.
Not
And
good
I'll get
at
into
for
the
you at all.
benefits of coffee as well. There's benefits from it, but so we're trying to talk about pros and cons of it, obviously.
Absolutely.
So, if you drink or you have your apple, you can have a form of caffeine in the form of maybe there's sports drinks that have it in there. There's sports gels, like it's like a little tube in you.
Oh, so like a Go-Gurt?
Yeah, but not yogurt, like Jello, basically, like liquid Jello.
Weird.
You ever seen those?
No.
They Gatorade, I think, makes some.
Really?
I'm pretty sure, anyway.
Yeah, I've
Anyways,
never seen them.
You've got those, or have maybe like a small cup of coffee or something like that, and it can help you recover from it. Or if you have caffeine in general that day, I would say you're probably fine.
Yeah.
But you getting those carbs in is also very helpful for that. Okay, so number 8. This is probably a con.
I would say so.
It raises blood pressure. So if you have a risk for high blood pressure, definitely be careful on how much caffeine you consume, because that can send you over the edge.
Definitely.
And don't drink it before you go to the doctor.
That's why. Yes. And that's why people are jittery.
Right. Yeah.
It's that high blood pressure. Really, that's why your body wants to use your muscles, because it pumps up your blood pressure when it's doing stuff.
Right.
That's
exactly.
why your heart, starts beating faster when you're working out or something.
Right.
And so it artificially raises it, rather than your body naturally doing it.
Right, exactly. As like if you're working out or something like that, and then you take your blood pressure, it's going to be higher.
Yep.
Compared to if you're taking coffee. So don't do it before you go to your doctor's office. Drink a whole bunch of caffeine, because then you might have a problem with blood pressure at that point.
And then you'll have your doctor will have a problem with you.
Right. Okay, so coffee. It actually prevents. We're talking about caffeine still, but let's talk about like in the form of coffee is probably, I'm assuming, where they derive this from.
Probably.
Not the form of energy drinks
But
or clean energy
there
drinks.
are some clean energy
Right.
drinks.
So ones that have
Natural caffeine.
well, natural caffeine, but also that's not exactly the problem. It's more the artificial sugars in it.
Yep.
That's a huge thing, because your body still takes it as sugar, but it actually takes it higher than sugar, like artificial
like
ones.
you're saying, like the high fructose corn syrup.
No, I'm referring to like sucralose.
Artificial sweeteners. Yeah.
And aspartame. Aspartame's super bad for you.
It's really bad. Did you know aspartame's like banned in like 20 different countries?
Yeah, but not the U.S.
Yeah, because
the
US
FDA
is
is stupid.
Yep.
FDA, get your act together. Okay, so it can protect against disease. Caffeine seems to help prevent gallstones and inflammation, among other medical problems. Some studies show that regular caffeine, or coffee, might keep away certain neurological diseases, such as Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, Huntington's. That sounds like a bank.
Yeah, it does.
That's a bank that we used to have. Multiple sclerosis. There we go.
Multiple
Say it again.
sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis.
I've
There
had
we
too
go.
much coffee, and so my words are starting to slur.
Oh, see, that's
See?
the opposite of what happens to me.
Okay.
See, when I have coffee, I'm super focused. Like right now.
Mine is So then I get more jittery with caffeine. So this is fine now.
See, my words slur when I'm tired, and I get jittery when I'm tired.
Oh, okay. Mine do it often.
Me
when
too.
I drink coffee, and then when I'm tired. So
Yeah, when I'm tired, I'm just like, and then
I talk a lot faster when I'm on caffeine, though. So then that could be the effect. Not necessarily slurring. I'm just talking faster.
That's true.
But also I can't pronounce anything anyway, so. And epilepsy. So more research is needed.
Yeah, I would
on
definitely.
that. I wouldn't like take it as, hey, this is gonna prevent me from dying.
The only
Bottoms up, you know?
only thing that I have seen reliably that it does help with is asthma.
Oh yeah. I didn't
uh,
even see that on here, but
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I would
it
imagine
does.
So.
It does help with regulating asthma. It's one of the best natural ways.
Caffeine or coffee?
Caffeine specifically, but coffee is a much better way to do it, especially when you have like a 5-year-old kid, because then you just give them a little bit of coffee.
Right.
Like,
I mean, some parents actually don't think that it's a good idea to give their kids coffee. So I've seen both sides of it. That like you shouldn't give your kid coffee until they're like 13. I've seen some that give it to their ADHD kid instead of putting them on meds.
and I think that's a good idea. I honestly do.
I mean, I'm just not big on Western medicine in general, so I'm much more into homeopathic stuff and
I agree.
you know, essential oils and things.
Yeah, I think
things like that.
I'm definitely more on the natural side.
Right.
But I think probably a little less than some people.
Right. Yeah, I'm not against
I'm okay with
medicine.
pain meds if
Right,
you're
absolutely.
really in pain.
if it's cannot be solved naturally,
Exactly.
then I don't want to live with that. You know, I want to still take care of the problem.
Like I have teeth problems.
Right.
So I'm gonna go to the dentist. I'm not
makes sense.
I'm not just gonna try a
Dab some clove oil on it, and then you're good to go. You know.
Yeah. No. But yeah, when it comes to coffee, like for people with asthma, I heard like since they're like 5, but just a tiny bit, and only because they have asthma.
Like 4 to 6 ounces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That makes
And
sense.
it really helps with that. And then, like you said, with ADHD, it really works as my Adderall. I am so much more focused when I can have just a little bit of caffeine. I don't need that much, because like the amount of focus I get from this latte versus 300 milligrams of caffeine, same amount.
Yeah. Well, and really the body only needs 200 to 400. Past that point, it's just overstimulating. Like,
exactly.
You know, so, but like let's talk about espresso. So espresso, there's about 65 milligrams of caffeine.
Okay.
In a shot.
And then how many
And
shots
there's
was
2
there?
shots in there.
Yep.
And a cup of coffee, just like a regular brewed coffee, is about 95 milligrams.
Okay.
But also caffeine can be in forms of dark chocolate. It can be in other forms of food. So you're still receiving caffeine even if you aren't drinking coffee per se.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I would say it's one of the more rare chemicals to find in foods, but it's not
in chocolate,
unheard of.
especially. I mean, it's like 10 to 15 milligrams, I think.
Yeah. So
it's
just
very small amount of caffeine.
But like my mom, she doesn't drink coffee at all. She doesn't
She
like
actually
coffee.
just drank coffee today.
Oh, yeah.
Like this much of it.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and she liked it.
Okay, that is
I
true.
have
She
converted
started. She said one day, she's like, yeah, I had a latte and I liked it. I was like,
What?
my mind was
mom
blown.
My mom doesn't. My mom likes the taste of coffee if it's more sweet, but it hurts her stomach. So that's also
okay.
a con of with this. Like
Yeah,
coffee
digestion.
gives me heartburn because of the
Oh.
acidicness, but I also have heartburn from a lot of things. So like I get it from pretty much anything.
So
My dad and I both have like a
Okay.
condition to where you get it often.
Yeah.
So avoiding coffee helps with the heartburn.
Okay.
What I do is I drink coffee anyway. But I try to attempt to drink water first, very cold water, and I let it sit into my system, and then I drink my coffee. Today I didn't do that, and I'm regretting it very much so.
Yeah.
But coffee is very acidic, so if you have stomach issues or a sensitive stomach,
Yep.
it can be very painful, and it can tear at that lining of your stomach.
And it can
as well.
just in general give you indigestion.
I just hit my finger, and that hurt.
Ow.
Yeah, I'm good though.
Yeah, and it can in general just give you indigestion.
Right. Okay, so this is the last thing I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Okay, so this is, I don't think it's controversial as far as Baptists go, but I think we should bring it up.
Okay.
Is caffeine, having an addiction to caffeine, okay? Biblically.
That's actually really good. That's
I'm
a
hoping
good
we come
point
to
to
a
bring up.
consensus where we don't agree on it, so I can continue to have my addiction.
So here's what I think.
What was he doing?
I don't
back
know.
there? I can't see. I don't have my glasses on.
I'm very confused. He showed me something.
He's doing what? He's painting?
Painting.
My husband's a painter. He's actually a construction worker. TK Construction Home Services, sponsored by them. Your podcast is now sponsored.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Does that mean I get money from you guys?
Ask TJ. Millions of dollars. If this video gets to, well, it's
If this video gets to
100 likes.
2 million views, what?
2 million views?
Then
I'm
I
at
get-
100 likes.
Oh.
100 likes,
you'll
you
give
get
me-
$5.
Okay, yep. 100 likes.
100 likes, $5.
If this gets
From
to
TK Home
100 likes,
Services. Construction
I
and
get
home
$5.
services. Yeah. He actually owns his own business now, so that's awesome.
pretty cool.
So, okay, so biblically, so because his argument for it was, and I heard this from someone else who heard it from him.
Okay.
So who knows if this is accurate, but his argument is the Bible talks about not being addicted to things. I'm trying to think of a specific verse. Not being addicted, but what is?
Well, there's one. Be not drunk with wine wherein is excess,
But
be
be
filled
sober.
with be filled with the Holy Spirit.
Well, right. And then there's also one about talking about being sober, meaning that you're not reliant on. Maybe
so
not.
that is an incorrect interpretation of that.
It wasn't it talking about being like
serious.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Taking the things
Sober
of
as
God
in-
seriously.
Yes. Yeah, but it's a common one. So I don't know if he was using that as
And so
that.
the reason I don't think that really holds up as far as and I'll get more into what I think does hold up.
Okay.
But as far as those arguments, because I have heard them before, the reason I don't think that holds up is the difference between alcohol and caffeine.
Right.
Because alcohol is a depressant, whereas
Right.
caffeine is a stimulant. So if taken in the right amounts, caffeine can help you do more.
So
Can
what if
help
we're
you
talking
be
about
more
other
focused
drugs,
and
though?
help you think more clearly. Other drugs don't normally do that.
What about cocaine?
Cocaine?
Can it help you in small doses to help be focused more?
I
Or
don't
meth?
know.
Maybe meth.
Meth probably
TJ's
could.
more an expert on these drugs
That's true.
than I am.
But I would say those are illegal, so we don't need to comment on that.
Right, that's true.
And
But
then
I think he
marijuana
used-
and nicotine like destroy your lungs.
Right, it destroys your lungs, so that obviously isn't good for you either.
So if we're talking legal substances,
right.
because we can tackle those topics when we come to them, because they're also a lot harder drugs.
Right, that's true.
So that's the other thing. That's the reason I cut out energy drinks, even though it's not. I wouldn't consider that a hard drug, but it is way more effective. And I don't like being controlled by anything except the Lord.
right.
And so, what
That's
my
what his argument was, is that you
And
are being
I'm
controlled
okay
by
with-
it, and you're dependent on that rather than strength from the Lord.
So, I understand what he's coming from.
Sure.
But like for instance, alcohol, you can't think as clearly. You will make mistakes that you otherwise wouldn't have, and it literally
Affects your conscious, or
it-
for your
yes.
I still
it
don't know what the word
affects
is.
it affects your consciousness.
Yeah.
And so you are not in control.
Right, and you can't, and it shuts off that part to make the right and
Rational
wrong
decisions.
Yeah,
And that's why in the Bible it specifically
refers to alcohol.
condemns alcohol.
Right, exactly.
It never specifically condemns caffeine. I'm sure the Lord knew about it.
Yeah,
It
I don't know
never-
if they had like coffee back then,
Well,
but I
tea.
assume so. They had
I think
tea.
they had tea for a very long
But
time,
it's
at least
possible
in
that
Eastern
they had
culture.
coffee. It is possible that they had coffee.
Yeah, because that was near a tropical area.
You're right. So it is possible that they were drinking coffee. It might not have been called coffee.
Yeah,
You know.
but he specifically condemns alcohol because of how dangerous of a chemical it is.
Right.
I've not seen any good things come from alcohol. I've seen good things come from coffee.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah. Absolutely. But
And-
it is a valid point that
it's
he
a
made.
valid point.
And
So,
I feel like if you had that conviction, then I wouldn't be mad at that.
but I would call it a conviction, not a standard.
Right. Exactly. A standard's based off of what
The
the
Bible
Bible specifically
says.
says to do or do not. A conviction is your interpretation of that and what you do with it.
Yeah, but and also the reason I took a month off of caffeine is for that reason.
Yeah.
Because I understand you shouldn't be controlled by anything other than the Lord.
That includes food though as well.
It does.
I mean, so that's why it's good to sometimes fast because of that as
Yeah.
well. You're saying, hey, this isn't as important as my walk with the Lord.
Yeah.
You know.
And so I think that if you take a moderate approach and like for instance, if you're getting addicted to energy drinks, cut them out. If coffee is controlling you to the point where you're like, if I don't have my coffee, I'll be a terrible person.
Yeah.
And everyone will hate me. And it's like those don't talk to me till I have my coffee people.
I like those jokes.
It's funny.
I like to have my warm, comforting cup of coffee in
Mm-hmm.
the morning. And I would say if I don't go with it as of right now, I probably would end up with a headache.
Yeah.
But also, it's not that I'm controlled by it to where I couldn't go without it. There's just
Exactly.
consequences for going without it.
Exactly. And so I think everyone should make up their own mind, but in my opinion, I'm okay with coffee and I'm okay with anyone drinking energy
Yeah,
drinks.
my husband drinks energy drinks.
I have honestly no
Often.
problem with them because I just think they're just a more condensed version of caffeine. And if you want to
It's a
start
quick amount.
if you want to start attacking artificial things, then you have to cut out
Oh,
half
yeah.
your diet.
Yep.
So we're not even going to go there.
Right, exactly. And I think as far as like any addiction goes, even phone addiction and things like that, it's all along the same lines of how, you know, everything.
How much?
Yeah, and everything in moderation.
Yes, and also, like, when it comes to phone addiction, I was really realizing how stupid social media was and how much time I was spending on it. So I only use Snapchat.
Okay.
And
See,
I
I
only
have
use it to
timers
talk
blocked
to
up
normal
on mine.
people. See? There.
So I put my own timers up, and
Yeah.
with this one, you don't put a code in or anything. You just have to go to the app and like edit the time. So right now on vacation and stuff, obviously I have it open, but I'm not on it because I'm around other people. But at home, I set it to an hour a day of social media.
Yeah.
So normally I check it, you know, in the morning or at night. That's kind of like my time to just chill, sit there, catch up with the world.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, Snapchat, I keep up with streaks. You know, mainly that's literally it.
Yeah, I couldn't care less.
I have a lot of streaks, but
Yeah.
the only reason why I have it is because I want to see how far I can get up to, just
That's
for the fun
true.
of it. But
Yeah,
I've missed a
like
lot
a
of
little,
them.
Oh,
At first, I
sad.
kept like doing it. I was like, oh, I forgot. It's been 5 days. I probably don't have those streaks anymore.
Yeah, probably not.
But anyways, yeah, back to caffeine.
And so I think I put caffeine in the same category as everything else because it's not inherently wrong.
Right? Yeah.
It doesn't inherently hurt you. If you drink
amoral.
caffeine, exactly, just like a cell phone,
That's a
just like a
10-cent word.
TV,
Yeah.
I know, just like a computer, it's amoral. If, like, for instance, I have no problem with video games, but I do have problems with people who play video games their entire life and don't do anything with their life ever.
Right, and who are addicted to it.
'Cause-
That would be
yeah.
addiction.
Yeah.
I would say addiction is wrong.
I would say addiction is wrong. So if you are getting addicted to it, I have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with coffee.
Right.
No,
I don't know. Maybe I would say I'm addicted to coffee, but not really. I've gone without it many times at home. But like on vacation and stuff, I do tend to drink it every day. So then when I go home, I probably will end up with a headache for like 1 or 2 days, and then I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So there's some days I go with coffee, some days I go without. More often than not, I love the taste of it. And so I don't need it necessarily for the caffeine as much as like if this
Yeah.
was decaf, if decaf tasted good,
Yeah, exactly.
I would drink decaf with no problem. But I also enjoy it once in a while, especially if I've stayed up really late. That does help balance it out. And I'm overall a more likable person if I have more caffeine in me. Not too much, though, because then I get, like, jittery,
Anxious.
and then I get anxious, and then I get emotional. And if I'm emotional, it's not good. My poor husband. Thank you, honey, for putting up with me.
But yeah, my opinion is you shouldn't be controlled by anything.
Yeah.
So if coffee is controlling you, you should cut it out. But that goes, I put it in the same category as phones, computers, TVs, video games, even friends.
Yeah.
If friends are controlling you, you need to back off
Yeah.
and have a better relationship with God.
Yep.
Because you can get addicted to anything.
That's true.
So I can't with good conscience say that just because it's an addiction that is a psychoactive chemical that also is beneficial in some instances.
Yeah. It has pros and it has cons. Make up your own mind. If you don't like
Yep.
the taste of coffee, maybe not drink it.
The only chemical I would ever specifically condemn is alcohol because Lord condemns it and I'm not going to disagree with him.
Drugs that
Yeah.
are illegal.
Well, yeah, doing illegal things is illegal.
Condemned. Is illegal. Well, marijuana is not illegal in our state, so.
But it also destroys your lungs.
Oh yeah, big time.
and-
But there are CBD things that you can do
That's true.
that does not have the high effect that it gives you.
And that I won't rule on because I don't know enough about it. And
So I'm okay with CBD because I even use like a muscle cream that I
Okay.
use for like cramps, or even if I have like a headache or something like that. It's a CBD muscle cream with other essential oils in it. And that does, obviously, it's not going to get me high because it doesn't have the chemical THC in it. So
Yep.
when you have THC present in there, that's when you're high and you're out of control and you seem like elusive. I
Yep.
don't know what.
and that's the other thing. You're out of control.
Problem. Right.
That's
with
my
CBD,
problem.
it's relaxing those muscles. It's, helping with certain pain. You can even take CBD like under your tongue, and it can help regulate like your entire body hormones as well as your health.
Okay.
So it actually can be super good for you. Actually, at the coffee shop that we just went to last night, they have a CBD additive to your coffee to help you relax. So if coffee gives you the jitters, they put that into there to help it counteract the jitters with
Yeah.
it. I really wanted to try it, but I wanted the jitters. So I wanted that stimulation at that time.
Yeah. So then CBD is the same thing. If you're starting to get dependent on it.
You can't get dependent on CBD.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can get dependent on the good effects from it, I guess.
Well,
but
yeah,
that's
I'm
not
saying
dependent.
dependent the same way you can get dependent on coffee.
It doesn't work the same. So, in your bloodstream.
Really?
So, it's like taking vitamins. It's like getting dependent on vitamins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, the only way that you can get dependent on it is if it has the THC in it.
Well, yeah, then
But it's not also not marijuana at that point.
Exactly.
It's derived from the same plant, though.
Exactly. So that's a good use of a
But
plant.
even if even before marijuana was legal in Michigan, you could still receive CBD
Wow.
because it has no THC in it.
Yeah, and so that's my thing, and that's why I have a problem with a lot of different drugs. Is if you're dependent on it, that's a problem.
Like
And-
kombucha. Kombucha has like 0.00003% of alcohol in it. But you
Yes.
can't ever get dependent on it.
I've heard someone say, yeah, you could get drunk on kombucha, but you'd also be drowned and pickled before you did.
Yeah, big time. Like, it's pretty much impossible to.
It is.
Like,
Well,
yeah.
and vanilla.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you drink straight up
If
vanilla.
you drink straight vanilla, you probably could.
Yeah. Well, we had a person that was doing this is off subject. Sorry, people. You're just listening to this rant.
I love ranting.
I
so.
do too. That was well, Beth and I had a podcast, and that's pretty much
You
what it
guys,
was about.
well, you guys just only ranted.
Yeah, that's what the whole podcast was about. So there was a guy who did a preaching illustration, and he's talking about how he took like flour and then baking soda, and then he had vanilla and then an egg. And he goes, in and of themselves, I'm going to make a cake, And then he goes, I'm going to have just the baking soda. And he tasted the baking soda, and he's like, this is gross. I tasted this. And then he goes to taste the vanilla, and I was like, don't drink too much of that. And he's like, oh, that's right. Because he just tasted vanilla, but vanilla by itself is nasty. And then he used the illustration that each of us, it may seem that our talents are negligible to... God's master plan, which is this, wonderful tasting cake. But you need all of these other components put together, the body of Christ, to be able to make it. So it was a cool illustration.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a
Should
lot.
we sum it up?
I think we should.
Coffee is amazing. It's wonderful. I love it.
Unless
It's coffee.
No.
A big cup of coffee.
Nope.
Has the juice.
No.
It has the juice. Can't imagine a more beautiful thing. Shout out to Bethany Navis there. Please listen to that song.
no, please. I've been having nightmares because of that.
My eyes twitching because I've had too much coffee. We're talking about being addicted, and my eyes over here. I
Yeah.
also don't have my glasses on, so. that
So
helps.
my biggest thing is you shouldn't be controlled by anything but the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And so if you're being controlled by it, if you're being controlled by caffeine, then you should cut it out. If you're being controlled by energy drinks, cut it out. If you're being controlled by your phone, cut it out.
Yeah, makes sense.
But otherwise,
Coffee
it can
is great.
it can
Tastes
be
great.
really helpful if you have asthma, if you have ADHD, if you just need to get a good workout in.
Yeah. Or let's just talk about the taste of it. It's amazing.
Amen.
It's so
Coffee.
yummy, or else I wouldn't really drink if I hated the flavor of it.
Yeah, same
I
here.
love the flavor of a good latte or a good iced coffee. Oh, iced coffee. So good.
See, I prefer hot coffee.
I love iced coffee. Like in the dead of
okay.
winter, I have my iced coffee, and I'm like, swish,
No.
swish, swish.
Like me, it's like 90
You know-
degrees and 100% humidity, and I got a hot coffee.
You see those memes about like that girl that's like, oh, I've only had iced coffee for 3 meals. I wonder why my stomach hurts. That's me.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
That checks
I'm getting
out.
better though.
Good,
So
good.
And I only have one cup a day.
So, and with that, if you're going to drink coffee, eat as well. Otherwise, it can be more difficult on your everything.
Go to a coffee shop today. Get yourself some coffee, or come have me make it for you,
And get some food.
and get some food, and have a great life.
So we got a last segment.
Oh, we have a last segment?
I
I didn't know. I never watched the end of your podcast. I only watch like little bits and pieces, and then I'm like, I'll watch it later, and then I never do.
Yeah, well, that makes
No
sense. I've never watched
Okay,
to the
what's
end
the
of my
last segment?
podcast either. What is making you happy? I stole this from a podcast called Fun Time Happy Hour.
Okay.
But I heard it from the Android Central podcast because they stole it from them
What is making me happy right now?
this week. This past week.
This week?
This past week, what's something that highlighted that's like this is really just making me happy.
Well, obviously, my walk with God. Obviously, that's
Yeah.
first and foremost. But that's all the time, actually. I would say your guys' new dog, Chicken Nugget, is making me so happy because I have been having puppy fever and baby fever. But since there's no babies around other than Lissy, who's not really a baby,
No, not really.
the puppy is helping with the puppy fever. And then also, like, just seeing family and, like, being able to hang out with people that are, like Beth and all of you guys are, like, who are my best friends. And then I ended up marrying into the family. Like, how rare is that?
I know. It's
that
awesome.
You get your best friends, and you, like, literally, Beth and I were best friends for 3 years before I even knew about teaching. Like, because when Beth said, before we met each other in person, obviously, before I met your family, she says, you know, I've got 8 siblings. And I'm like, okay. And then she tells me who they are, and I knew about you guys. But really, I knew more about you than I did TJ because obviously TJ's more introverted and never really heard about him. And I met you at the camp that you guys came and visited.
Oh, yep.
But TJ wasn't there. He was at the Groppies. He didn't care about me at that time. He didn't even know who I was. And so then when TJ and I started talking, I was a little apprehensive because I didn't want to fall in love with my best friend's brother. You know, it just sounds complicated.
Yeah.
So I remember when I had to tell Beth that TJ was going to ask Dad. Well, he had already asked Dad, and we already gotten permission. He was going to talk to your parents, and I was supposed to talk to Beth. And I was scared to death to talk to Beth because I was like, what if she absolutely hates this idea? And I just remember calling her, and she was at a coffee shop of all places. Shocker. And she was there, and I was like, so what do you think about me and your brother? And she goes, what do you mean? I was like, well, I probably should specify which brother. Because I did look... So here comes all the confessions, right?
Okay.
So I looked at her brothers to see which one. You didn't.
No. Oh, no. I wouldn't think I would.
So young.
Plus, I was just a dork.
I would kill you, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
So you work really well as my brother.
We're too similar. That's a huge problem.
Yeah, so that's why you work really well as my brother.
Yes.
But then I found out how young you were, and I was like,
oh, definitely no.
And he's way too weird for me, and he's way too outgoing. He's got to
yes,
not be that.
I'm an extremely weird, outgoing
he seems
person.
Like my
I
little
would have
brother.
embarrassed.
Immediately, you seemed like my little brother, so it worked out really well.
Yeah.
And then I looked at TJ's Instagram, and I was like, he's really strong.
That's
of course
what
he's
most
got
girls
those...
notice about him. When used to when he was single.
Okay.
I don't know
Knutson?
him now.
I call my husband Knutson, even though our last name is pronounced Knutson.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, so I noticed him on there, and I saw him doing, like, the salmon ladder. I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then I was like, wow, he's really short. Man, I did pray for a taller guy, but I wasn't specific on how tall. So 3 inches taller, I guess I could maybe put up with it. And so then I kind of, like, forgot about it. I was like, whatever. And I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. That's what I thought. And then we started talking on Instagram about coffee. So, like, our entire relationship is all about, like,
yeah.
that's where it stemmed from, was coffee. So we started talking about how much espresso he had downed. Of course, TJ, I thought was more of a one-upper, you know, when it comes to things like that. He is. Well, that's because he literally does one-up them.
Yes.
Like,
He doesn't
just say it. And he doesn't do it to brag. He literally does it.
It's insane. Like, he's doing... He did, like, the double salmon ladder both ways, and I was like... And, like, there are people in competition that weren't able to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, so I was talking to him about caffeine, and then we just didn't stop talking. So I texted him 3 hours long, all the way up to the trip with my grandparents. And then when I told Beth, she literally screamed over the phone. I was like, is that a bad scream? Like, is that a really bad scream? And she's like, I'm so excited. And she starts crying. And your mom, I guess, got really excited when he told her.
Yeah, she's always
she was like jumped
you.
up and down or whatever. I don't know.
Wait,
I'm glad
what?
you like me, Mom. I don't know. That's what TJ said, but he might have said that to make me feel better.
No. He wouldn't actually.
I don't know.
That's
I
not
could
something
be wrong.
TJ would say.
I don't
That's
wrong.
probably.
She did.
What?
Aww.
Okay, she never does
I
that.
have
She's
wonderful
the most,
in-laws. So...
She's the most calm, like, you know, just kind of collected, down to earth person. So the fact that she jumped up and down, she must have really liked you.
Well,
and
hopefully
still
she
does.
still does. I was like,
no, and still does.
No, I love my
that
in-laws.
was
So,
specification.
and then of course now now I have my best friend as my sister-in-law, and then all of you guys as well. I always wanted sisters, and now I have 5 of them. I was like, I always wanted sisters, and now I have 5 sister-in-laws. So, and 4 brother-in-laws.
Yeah.
Because Andrew, although I never thought Andrew would be my brother-in-law. So Andrew is my aunt's niece.
Yup.
Or my uncle's nephew. I guess you could say it like that too. So we share the same aunt, which is just crazy in and of itself. And of course, I've known the Navises and the McCarvels since I was little.
Well,
my
that's
mom
how you became best friends
Mrs.
with
Navis,
Beth, right?
Yeah, Mom and Mrs. Navis were best friends growing up.
Yep.
So it's crazy how full circle that we've come, and a lot of it has revolved around coffee. So
Yeah.
coffee. Okay. Anyways, what else do
Coffee.
you want to know?
If
My
you-
voice is going.
Your
so I
love
probably
life. Coffee.
yeah, literally. Well, okay, I've even, like, that's why we had, at my wedding, like, a coffee bar and
Yes.
everything, like a latte of love. That's, like, our theme, you know. Yeah. That's just what it's all been about. you
Yeah.
know? That's so on that.
And then what's been making me happy? Well, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I have to
It's
say-
all about me right now? Back
And
under
then-
the
and then-
spotlight?
Oh yeah.
Okay, what's making you happy?
A lot of things. You guys coming up was so fun. TJ, it's weird because it's like
I lost my other slipper.
with a lot of
Did you?
people, it's like you see them, it's like, oh, it's so happy to see you. TJ, it's just like no time is gonna be like, hey loser, what's up? That's
Yeah, but you
That's
guys
what
get
me and
along
him-
so well now. I mean,
Now.
you did then.
no.
But, well,
At one point, we
sometimes.
hated each other.
Yeah, but sometimes you did get along.
Well, there was about a 3 to 5 year period where we didn't ever
Oh, that's
at
sad.
all. It was sad. It was very sad.
TJ.
Yeah, TJ was a jerk and I was a baby.
Poor thing.
I was an absolute
But now I would
wuss.
say you guys are super.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We did because I started realizing, hey, maybe I should stop being such a baby and just. I
And then
realized
he
he was
probably
actually
realized-
joking.
Right,
And
yeah.
then he stopped being mean because he's like, oh, he actually knows how to take a joke, and
And then it worked out
Marvel
well.
really. That's how we became such
That's
good
your
friends.
love
We
story?
yeah, we started. He started watching Marvel, and then I started watching it with him,
Okay, there you
and
go.
so we started watching movies. Like we watched Moana together as well.
Oh, how cute.
I know.
That's adorable.
It was literally our decision to watch Moana, and it was
TJ?
just me and TJ.
That is disturbing. TJ's not even down here. He's upstairs somewhere.
Yeah, well, he'll watch it later. Probably not, but we'll see.
Not even with me in it. Oh, and then now, well, depending on, it's a competition between me and Ruth, then I will be the first to have the first grandchild and great-grandchild. On my side, anyway.
On your side, yeah.
Yeah.
But wow, yeah.
But I'm
cool.
not pregnant, so
No,
no.
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 Okay.
Yeah. Surprise! I'm going to tell it all over the camera, like, right now. That's how I'm going to announce it. You'll have to watch the podcast to find out. Or wait 9 months. That would be a horrible way.
That would be a horrible way.
Okay. Anything else?
And then specifically the Globetrotters yesterday. That was
It sounded
it was
fun.
a lot less of them like doing insane stunts and more a whole comedy show involving
love that.
basketball
Yeah.
where they did a bunch of funny stunts and like the team they're playing against, it was just like a mock game. It
Right.
wasn't an actual game. But yeah, they did a bunch of just they're absolute idiots that know how to handle basketball very well.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah,
Coffee's
we're good.
Great. We're good.
Coffee's good. Don't get addicted. And thank
Have
you.
a nice life.
Thank y'all for watching.
Enjoy your next 24 hours.
Yes. Wait, what?
It's the same thing as have a nice day.
Enjoy. That sounds a lot more like.
Did you know that I'm sorry and I apologize mean the same thing unless you're at a funeral? Follow me for more dark humor jokes.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's more Jalen's fault though.
Yeah, that is Jalen's fault. Shout out to Jalen DeVrew.
Woo!
I'm doing lots of shout outs. I should get sponsored.
By Jalen?
Yeah. She doesn't even work a job right now, so sponsor me anyway. Homeschool sponsors.
Yeah, it doesn't work out too well.
Okay, do we say bye now?
Bye now.
Bye now. Have a nice life.
Have a nice next 24 hours.
Goodbye now.